It was helped by strong growth in cities where restrictions have been eased. However, the company said rides were down about 70% compared to a year ago. And mortgage demand from home buyers jumped 18%. Interest rates set another record low. The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage is now 3.37%, according to Freddie Mac. As the outbreak was surging 6 weeks ago, applications by home buyers were down 35%. Live from New York, I'm Jane King with your business update.
At Toyota Louisville, we want your trade-in, even if you owe more than the car's worth. I just jumped back during the big Memorial Day sales event, and right now, zero down delivers. ToyotaLouisville.com is for being simple. Nobody walks away.
You faithfully pay your insurance premium, but do you really know what insurance you have? Are you really protected? If you've been injured, know your rights. Speak to an experienced attorney at Kaufman and Sticker to get all the money you deserve. Go to getthetiger.com.
At C&L Heating and Air, we know it's not fun to spend money on your air conditioner. That's why we're offering $500 off now through Thursday. C&L Heating and Air is affordable, local, and always reachable. So call me on my cell phone or go online today.
As a critical infrastructure, CSL Plasma's donation centers.
Wow. I need to figure out how I'm doing on turn this fan on. Turn the fan down so I don't get that feedback. I need to know how clear the audio and video is coming. Turned all the way up. Um, hmm. It's a lot of stuff that I could talk about, but this ain't the place. I think I'm going to start a Zoom room rather than using Blog Talk Radio Show for the radio show. And the reason why is less expensive. I can still record live stream shows. I think I can have up to 9 co-hosts or hosts, uh, and it's stored information so that I can actually put it on YouTube, on our channel, and what have you. Um, uh, I think it would be beneficial. I do. I think that we all could get something from it. It says that I'm broadcasting live. Um, say something about this video. I'm gonna give it a minute and see. Let me see. I'm gonna call it from then to now. Yeah. Uh, and wow. Let me see. Where can I go with this? In all honesty, uh, as sad as the event happening is, I am grateful that another trauma, another traumatic experience uh, in the community uh, has brought about a rapture. In fact, I am watching what they call the butterfly effect take place. And the butterfly effect is somebody's idea that a butterfly flapping its wings in Tucson, Arizona, can cause typhoon in Japan. The butterfly's wings flapping, that small wind uh, travels, picks up velocity, speed, and strength enough to cause a typhoon in Japan. This is not an event that's taking place in the nation, not in Minneapolis, not in Kentucky, Louisville, not in Richmond, Virginia. That is what I called fractional thinking. In totality, in Marseille, the world, global rebellion and uprising is taking place. New Zealand, Berlin, London, uh, Britain. Uh, it's all over the world. All over the world. People are having uh, protestations, riotous acts, and looting. Now, when I say that there's three different groups out there doing this worldwide event, what I'm saying is that there is protesters, rioters, and looters. And within each one of those three, there are different organizations and movements, both to and against what is taking place. There has been footage posted from different organizations that is for change, exposing individuals that are against the change in the protest, throwing bottles, bricks, and breaking windows, going and looting, and they're catching them. And those that are trying to bring about the change are like, "What are you doing?" Even spray painting the names of those that is about peaceful protests. The ones that are being exposed are writing the names in spray paint of the peaceful movements. Nevertheless, it ain't stopping the actions from happening. Real quick in the comment section, I need to know if I'm being heard. Is it clear? Is it choppy? Because I'm using my laptop rather than my phone, and so I'm not sure how good the broadband is. But I'm gonna keep it moving. Um, there was actual pallets of bricks being set on the sidewalks and in the streets for protesters. And no one knows who done it and when it happened. No one has submitted any footage of these pallets of bricks being dropped off, but there they are. And I'm trying to figure out uh, when it could have been done where someone isn't filming. Because this whole event, you can find somebody on Facebook that's out in these streets protesting. So, that's kind of bothersome or, shall I say, concerning on its own. Shoot. Uh, Nevertheless, I think it's better if uh, I go ahead and start up a Zoom meeting. I had did a live stream group chat for the movement, the Universal School of Thought, and that was only open to individuals within the movement. This I'm posting up on my personal page itself, but I'm thinking about involving my fan page as well as this personal page and the Universal School of Thought fan page as well for our supporters to attend. Now, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on this, but I just wanted to at least, uh, put that out there for our viewers to have an opportunity. Because I really would like feedback from, the viewers. Because the viewers, we could talk about a lot of stuff because I don't know everything. I could tell you that on several different nights, at least three in question, here in Louisville, Kentucky, uh, several events. It started with Breonna Taylor. The three officers, they talking about they want to fire. I'm like, fire? Fuck that. No, that's not what I want. I want justice. Firing. And what is you trying to say? Are you trying to tell me that the life of a black person is worth somebody's job? Is that what's being said? Is that the message you're delivering? No, there need to be charges brought up on each individual involved. Let me say something. If Me and a guy was running together, and I ain't even the one. I'm clutching, or I might have a pistol on my side, and I ain't even clutching. But he squeezed off. The guy that I'm with, he squeezes off, and he kills somebody. Do you know that what happens to me, even though I ain't pulled and I ain't squeezed? It's called accessory to murder. So here we got 3 police officers here in Louisville, Kentucky, who has not been fired and have not been brought up on charges. Uh, in the case with George Floyd, the one cop that had his knee on him is being charged with 3rd-degree murder. And let me tell you, go if you research it, even though you may be paying attention to the high end of the sentencing guidelines, you might want to look at the low end of the sentencing guidelines, and that a judge does not have to abide by those sentencing guidelines. They're only suggested guidelines. A judge does not have to go with either the high end or the low end. It's just a suggestion for him, just so he has some type of idea of what is considered, regular or qualified sentencing time, right? But just like there's no accessory charges to the other officers, the agent officer that was standing there looking dumbfounded in the face, he's an accessory to murder. He did nothing to stop the murder. He did nothing. So until all 4 officers are incarcerated, charged, and have dates for preliminary uh, sentencing, or not preliminary, a preliminary hearing, I'm not satisfied. Then on top of that, we got a question regarding Aubrey, what is his name, Ahmaud Aubrey, and how that case has been handled as far as the 2 Caucasian men who was father and son that shot him dead. But you have you noticed how uh, African Americans, if you will, have to fight to prove they're a victim. Like every time somebody does something to one of us, you try to criminalize, not you, but you understand that this nation is famous for criminalizing the victim. Well, why did he do it? He must have done something wrong. You're even going to a person's past history. They went into something that took place 12 years ago that proved that he has broken the law before. That is the most asinine shit I've ever seen people do. It's be like, yo, we're not talking about what he did in 2007 or 2008. We're talking about that man was violently murdered for jogging through a neighborhood. They said he stole a TV. There was no TV recovered, and he's jogging with a TV, right? Like, and that he had went on the property of a unfinished house, and when searching the the house camera system, the owner showed where there was white people going on that property the same way in the middle of the night. Ain't nobody killed them. There was children on bicycles. Ain't nobody killed them. But this one particular incident, that's when they decide that somebody need to die. And alongside that, this case that's currently going on, what made them charge? Like I'm upset with the prosecuting attorney. So here we got somebody that's supposed to be representing the people, and he decides that the best charge to put out against the police officer with his knee on George Floyd's neck is 3rd-degree murder. Anything lower than that is probably involuntary manslaughter. Um, and look, I personally know that you could be charged with anything. The proof in the proof and the evidence for conviction is what makes a charge have any value. Let me say that again. You can be charged with anything, and you're guilty till proven innocent. If they charge me with murder or something as small as uh, shoplifting, I'm guilty till proven innocent because they'll lock me up immediately. And then I have to wait to see the magistrate who then decides whether or not the charges are valid enough to hold me. And am I a threat to society or myself? And then they set something called a bond and establish bail, how much I need to come up with, which is usually 10% or whatever number that they give. But the charges don't even have to stick. In fact, I remember being charged with 2 counts of armed robbery. So they held me, and I had $1 million bond, $1 million bond, which means that my mother would have had to come up with $100,000 for me to come home until trial. So they put it that high, not because I was a flight risk, because I never missed a court date before. I had never been charged for armed robberies before. So what made them set it that high is because they wanted me to stay in jail. They wanted me off the street. So they ended up dropping the charges and re-indicting me on simple robbery to hold me longer and push my court date. And I ended up going to court. And anyway, my point is, all right, Chad, I see you. And I will. I intend to. My point is, I can't believe that our people, and I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about our people that's uprising, regardless of race or ethnicity. They have a heart of a revolutionary. They're doing the damn thing. I just came from off the street, but just for the sake of surveillance, I need to let you know that I went to go find me some trimmers for the cut hair and visit one of the recovery centers. Well, actually, 2 recovery centers in the city. And I did that because I always want to stay connected with recovery centers. But nevertheless, I was out there. And this ain't the first time I've been out there. And I'm not going to go any further in the details because I want y'all to understand that Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name, is affiliated with some of the organizations and facilities that surveil this information that we put up on here, both audio, video, and written form, right? And they make cases out of what people put up. So I'm not going to incriminate myself, or as we say around the way, dry snitch on myself about my activities. And I'm a law abiding citizen. I pay taxes, and I am not being looked for any crime or infraction against this nation, neither international nor domestic. All right, so what we weren't paying attention to, some of us, was that Congress passed a law, and it has to deal with the Patriot Act and the surveillance system that was first established after 9/11 by the Homeland Security. They have revised the surveillance methods, process, and procedures that they use, saying now that these organizations that are out there protesting, rioting, and looting are domestic terrorists. The only one that Trump came out verbally and spoke again was that movement that was supposed to be anti, I forget the name of them. Hold on. They're out something. I can't remember the name of them, but they something tough. Anyway, I'll find it. It's I need this. Is why I need interaction from other people because I can't remember everything. But there's a group, and he called them anti-American, and they were a domestic terrorist group. And uh, there's individuals on my Facebook page, and probably yours as well, that's talking about like they can't believe that people are out here, you know, tearing and burning buildings down. But they was quiet as fuck during all these black people getting murdered. So you value property more than you do person or human life, especially when it ain't of your ethnicity. This is what I'm saying. And that they talk about peaceful protesting, but in the next breath, they congratulating the police, uh, pepper spraying them in the face, hitting them in the eyeball with them rubber bullets. And there's one kid, he was a little young Caucasian kid. His eye got knocked out by one of those tear gas canisters. So I be tripping off of shit like that. I be like, man, what the hell? Nevertheless, I just wanted to get a quick 10, 20 minutes. This has been 20 minutes? Dang, time fly. Uh, in about what I'm watching take place. Um, I take no stance either against or for the rioting and the looting. The protesting, I don't even take a stance on that shit. Because individuals are under the impression that Martin Luther King marching was what did it. And I'm here to tell you, you so far from the truth. What was effective about the boycott, the bus boycott that Martin Luther King Jr. did, what made it so effective was that people stopped riding the bus. And that meant the Department of Transportation, right, went under in their revenue because the majority of their uh, revenue was generated from the African American community. Uh, so it was the economical boycott that made the difference, not the marching. They was marching and getting beat in the head, bit by dogs, water hosed. So now this time we fighting back more than ever before. Now we animals and savages and shit. I don't agree with that. It's just you can't do it no more. If nothing else, welcome to change. That the new world order that they had in place and wanted to institute has taken a backseat to a new world order established and enforced by people who are rebelling against an unjust system and social and systematic racism. It's over. You can't kill a black man anymore without consequences. We are no longer marching, singing gospel hymns, thinking that you're going to change because of a good heart. You're not. We know it. We're not wasting no more time with that shit. So I applaud those who are proactive during this time. And again, I am neither opposing, neither am I endorsing looting or rioting. I simply ain't. I don't got nothing to do with that shit because they done already shown. Let me tell you something. August the 25th of 1967, J. Edgar Hoover, who was the president of the FBI, the head person in charge, sat and met with COINTELPRO and made some statements about moving against black hate groups. He considered the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King and the SCS or the South Christian churches who bared arms and was ready to kill police, if they messed with Martin Luther King Jr. and those that ran with him and marched with him, and one of them was Jesse Jackson, another one was what was that guy's name? And I miss him too because he was a comedian too. Yeah, that's why I need to laugh. But he's comical, but he dropped megaton bombs and exposed people. But these individuals were considered hate groups. And one of the minutes that was recorded was that the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover was trying to prevent the rise of a black messiah. The Black Messiah must not rise. This is written 1967, August the 25th. The records are available online from the FBI files. They because every 20 years the FBI files release certain information that has been considered sealed, like the UFOs and things like that. France beat them to that. But anyway, keep moving forward. Um, they said not only are they going to infiltrate black movements, not just for surveillance, but sabotage, to frustrate and prevent any new initiations of younger people that are black into those movements. So they was going to frustrate and they was going to prevent any new people joining up. That's what they try to do. Alongside, they were going to create what they call pseudo movements, pseudo black movements that had they was like a shell. They had they had no substance and they would guarantee no growth, development, or solidification within the black community. Such as, and I know some people hate when I say this, the NAACP has no economical faction within its structure. So there was no way to generate, produce, or recycle a residual. They was totally 501c3. And when you belong 501c3, the IRS has control over what you say and do if you deviate too far outside of national security, beep, beep, national security, you will be considered a domestic terrorist group or a black hate group or a black hate movement, and they would seize all properties, freeze the movements, snatch his 501c3 form or status, and all taxes from its inception be due, which means put you in a hole and you owe money and you can no longer meet legally. This is recorded. Uh, Underneath the laws or the guidelines of 501c3. Most black churches fall under the same premises, which is why you won't hear about black church pastors making any claims as to being for what's going on to a degree that would be rebellion against the nation. Anyway, yeah, we it would be great to have a radio show or something like that about this. But I just want to take a few minutes and touch bases on some of the stuff that's going on. I'm gonna go push off. I feel like head back up on Broadway myself and be with my people, man. That's just cause that's just what I do. But if you ain't getting nothing out of what I done said and things that I done brought up, we need to talk because sometimes what people bring up it sparks a sale. Man sharpens man like iron sharpens iron, right? So sometimes people jog my memory and pull up some of the stuff that's locked. That's why sponsorship or education is so important, like getting a student or a sparsee and teaching them is so important because some of the questions that they ask is the shit that you asked a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, in my case, 25 years ago. And like, I'm like, it's locked away and it's waiting for someone to spark it, you know. But anyway, if you ain't getting nothing out of nothing I said, just remember this. Think while it's still free. Peace.